Good morning and welcome to the Fountain Studio celebration. As most of you know, we began the summer with an appeal to fund the repair of our tower and sanctuary roofs. $60,000 was a huge ask, but I'm thrilled to report that not only are our roof repairs complete, but your generous donations toward that effort came to $62,001. Thanks to everyone who contributed toward this vital repair to our sanctuary. The people of the Fountains continue to maintain the reputation of rising to whatever challenges face us as a community. So thank you. May this success inspire us to continue to rise to the challenge of putting love first in Fountain Hills and beyond. Thank you, and welcome to our studio celebration. We're glad you've joined us.
Join me as we get in the Spirit. Our every breath comes from the source of all life. Our wisdom comes from the one who meets us here. May our eyes be opened to meet the divine face to face. May our ears be opened to hear the Spirit's leading. May we sense the Christ's presence here in this place.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in awe. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Let's affirm the Fountain's mission together. As followers of Jesus, we put love first.
As we come to this time of quiet and openness, may we breathe deep. set aside the distractions in our minds and sense the presentness of the source of life. May we come apart from the busyness of life, and if only for a moment, dwell in the presentness of the divine, the source of being. May the silence we share be a quiet that touches our needs, refreshes our courage, and enlarges our wonder. May we be surrounded with a very real sense of the presence of the source and sustainer of all that exists. With gratitude, we embrace the opportunity we have to set aside this moment today and open ourselves to the spirit of wisdom that inspires and challenges us. In the quiet, we open ourselves to the movement of the Spirit, here and now.
Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me. Melt me, mold me, fill me, use me. Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me.
We sometimes find it difficult to be the people we should be. The world tells us that sharing of our abundance will eventually leave us no better off than those we are helping. The world tells us that making sure we have an advantage over others will give us a happier life. The world tells us that power is good, that being in charge is the best way to get what we want. May we learn the errors of the ways of this world. May we become aware of the abundance in this world so that all people may be cared for. May our eyes be open to the reality that real happiness comes from equality, knowing that all of humanity is cared for. As we put these things into practice, may we learn them anew every day, every hour, every moment. This is our prayer.
We offer this time of quiet, bringing our whole selves in the name of the one who taught his first followers to pray the prayer we now sing together.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us as we forgive others, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours forever.
Hi there, Fountains community. This is Ellie with Missions and Outreach. What you may or may not know is that we are becoming really engaged in our immigration work, helping those neighbors who have migrated here, who are seeking asylum. We do this through the Welcome Center, and we have some more potential volunteer opportunities coming up. With that, I know that there is also some nervousness about the bridge in communication. How do we communicate with folks? Well, we have a wonderful opportunity to help get rid of that anxiety with my Spanish teacher, Miss Norma from Hermosillo. And so what her and I are offering are online Spanish classes starting the second week of October. We're going to offer 2 sessions on a Wednesday, either at 12 noon or at 6:30. And so if you are interested in learning Spanish in general, but Spanish specifically to helping our migrant families that we are serving, please do come and join us. There's also conversational Spanish. There is learning how to travel to Mexico Spanish. All of this kind of stuff will be offered. It is just $60 a month for online classes. It's a 75-minute online class with your fellow Fountains members, or if you have anybody in the Fountains community that you think would be interested in this, please share the flyer that you see in our newsletter. And then there's an opportunity for one-on-one development as well. If you are interested, we have a deadline. It is September 21st. You have to email me at outreach@weputlovefirst.org. Again, Spanish classes specific to helping our families that we help at the Welcome Center, and for those upcoming volunteer opportunities that Reverend Adele talked about a couple weeks ago. Look forward to connecting with you in Spanish. Be well for now. Bye.
Every day, the Fountain strives to put love first, both in person and online.
And if you're one of our many regular online viewers, we're grateful for your participation in a digital member.
Every week, you hear about all the many ways you can give electronically to support this online outreach, like using the QR code on the screen, going to give.weputlovefirst.org, or downloading the Vanco mobile app. Then when you're on our secure giving site, be sure to look for the line that says Studio Celebration Donation.
A contribution here lets us know you're out there, that the studio is important to you, and that you want to be a part of supporting this growing digital outreach.
So, wherever and whenever you watch, we're glad you're joining us.
Thanks in advance for supporting the studio financially.
winter is the oldest season. Quietly beneath the snow, seeds are stretching out and reaching, faithful as the morning glow. Carry nothing but what you must. Lean into the light, let it go, shake off the dust. Lean into the light, today is now, tomorrow beckons. Lean into the light, keep practicing resurrection. Lean into the light. Shadows of this world will shake. There's no hope, why try anyway? Every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light. Waters wide and open wide, lean into the light. Don't just walk when you can fly. Lean into the light, when justice seems in short supply. Lean into the light, let beauty be your truest guide. Lean into the light. Shadows of the world will shake. There's no hope, why try anyway? Every kindness, large or slight, shifts the balance toward the light. Prayer I pray at evening tide, lean into the light. All left undone be put aside. Lean into the light. When forgiveness is hard to find, lean into the light. Help me to at least be kind. Lean into the light. Whoa, yeah. Lean into the light. Come on, everybody, come with me. Lean into the light. Lean into the light. Yeah. Lean into the light. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because God's given Jesus Christ the Son. And now let the weak say I am strong. Let the poor say I am rich because of what the Lord has done for us. Give thanks with a grateful heart. Give thanks to the Holy One. Give thanks because God's given Jesus Christ the Son. Give thanks.
The book or books called Chronicles is an overview of Jewish history, from Adam to the reigns of Saul and David and Solomon, on to the destruction of the temple, and all the way to the release of the captives from Babylon by Cyrus the Great. In the Jewish tradition, Chronicles is just one big book or one big scroll. But in Christian Bibles, it's divided into 1st and 2nd Chronicles because that's the way the translators of one version, the Septuagint, decided to do it. In our passage today, King David is making an appeal for donations towards the construction of the temple. And his pitch is basically, look, all that you have is from God anyway. So Why not give a little bit back to help recognize the one who is the source of all you have and all you are in the first place?
Our words of wisdom are from 1 Chronicles chapter 29, verses 14 and 15. But who am I and what is my people that we should be able to make this free will offering? For all things come from you, and of your own have we given you. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. Thanks be to God.
Every day, Mullah Nasruddin went to the market to beg for alms. One day, a passerby held up 2 coins, one worth 10 times more than the other, and Nasruddin chose the smaller coin. The passerby thought to himself, "What a moron!" and told his story to his friends. The story went all around the province. Soon, day after day, groups of men and women would find Nasruddin in the market, show him the 2 coins, and Nasruddin would always choose the smaller one. One day, a generous man, tired of seeing Nasruddin ridiculed, beckoned him over to a corner of the square and said, "You know, when they offer you 2 coins, you should choose the larger one. That way you'd earn more money and people wouldn't consider you an idiot." "That sounds like good advice," replied Nasruddin, "but if I chose the larger coin, people would stop offering me money at all because they like to believe that I'm even more stupid than they are." You've no idea how much money I've earned using this trick. Do you ever feel conflicted passing someone who's asking for money? You want to be generous, but you find yourself looking for excuses to justify not giving anything to them. Do you pat yourself on the back for the wisdom of your choice to not squander cash that might support someone's bad life decisions? Me too. So, today's spiritual discipline is for all of us. In Hebrew, today's practice is called Tzedakah. You and I know it in English as generosity. It's often wrongly translated as charity, and that's not what we're talking about. Charity comes from the Latin word caritas, meaning from the heart, and it's a whole different deal. Charity is voluntary. It's a voluntary act motivated by the feeling of another's pain and impulsively wanting to help. Tzedakah, on the other hand, is from the Hebrew root word tzedek, which means justice. It has nothing to do with feelings. It's a matter of doing justice. And as far as Jewish tradition is concerned, it's an obligation. You are obligated to be generous, whether or not you feel like it. In fact, according to the Babylonian Talmud, tzedakah is the most important commandment to which Jews are obligated. It says, tzedakah, generosity, is equal to all the other commandments combined. In the Torah, this call for justice is emphasized everywhere. Justice, justice, you shall pursue, and let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream, says Amos. Now, this sounds like a pretty tall order, but it doesn't have to be intimidating. This ancient concern for justice can be expressed by you and me in our daily lives through the practice of tzedakah, or generosity. This isn't about impulse giving or giving out of guilt. Many of us are manipulated to be spontaneously generous when the vacant stares of hopeless children or pets are flashed up on our TV screens. The sight tugs at our conscience, and so we give. But the need is so great, we could give every penny we have and not put a dent in the problem, mainly because the system is slanted to give the advantage to the already comfortable. Poverty is essentially built into the system, and it's virtually impossible to change. So we risk become jaded, cold, and unfeeling. When we pass those in need, we wear a mask of disinterest, or we reassure ourselves that the poor have done this to themselves. Sorry, man, you obviously have made some really bad life choices and don't deserve my help. Now, if you do think something like that, you're succumbing to my favorite form of ancient biblical claptrap, the Deuteronomistic Code, which is you get what you deserve and you deserve what you get. You might remember that, in my opinion, Jesus spent his whole ministry trying to undo this obvious untruth. That's why he healed people that he shouldn't have, and spent time with people that he shouldn't have given the time of day. His critics were mad because Jesus was interfering with the punishment that they obviously deserved, be it leprosy or poverty or, being a woman. There are plenty of people who are poor or sick who did nothing to deserve it, and plenty of people who are rich and comfortable who don't deserve that either. You get what you deserve, and you deserve what you get is not reality, no matter what you've been raised to believe. So, check that thought at the door. Tzedakah is not about power or poverty. It's not about what someone deserves or doesn't deserve. It's about recognizing the interdependence of all of creation and our obligation to each other to create the most just world we can. Remember, Tzedakah is about doing justice in our communities, and nobody gets a pass. Years ago, Rabbi Rami was living in Jerusalem, and one afternoon, he sat with a group of beggars on a street corner. Over the course of the conversation, one of the beggars got up to leave, and as he did so, he took from his own cup and gave something to each of the other beggars. When Rabbi Rami asked the remaining beggars about this, they reminded him that tzedakah, generosity, was everyone's obligation, even a beggar's. Practicing tzedakah is a gesture towards recognizing that we are interdependent with all beings. Instead of impoverishing yourself by giving everything you have or becoming cold and unfeeling, you can practice tzedakah. It's the middle path between apathy and self-impoverishment. Remember, the larger goal of tzedakah is political. It's about community. It's about the creation of an economically just and compassionate society where everyone has an opportunity to sustain him or herself, and where help is available for those who can't do for themselves. The great Jewish teacher Maimonides contemplated multiple facets of tzedakah, and one of the things he kept coming back to is that when it comes to the spiritual benefit of generosity, the amount given doesn't matter. The attitude of the giver is what matters. You might remember Paul's bumper sticker from 2 Corinthians, God loves a cheerful giver. What you might not remember is that the word we translate as cheerful is hilarion in Greek. That's where we get our English word hilarious. God loves a hilarious giver. We give not out of pity, but out of moral obligation, out of a sense of justice. And if we really do it right, we give with joy, because God loves a hilarious giver. Okay, so how do we fulfill this moral obligation to be generous? Let me share with you a simple way to make tzedakah a habit. First thing you have to do is settle on an amount that you can afford to set aside. Separate it from your regular operating budget. Maybe even open a separate account into which you put a set amount every month. Then keep a pushka or tzedakah box somewhere in your house. The simplest strategy is to drop your change into it, and when it's full, you add the total to your tzedakah account, which already has money in it that you're putting in regularly. The rabbis have encouraged people to increase the amount of money in their tzedakah budget by putting money in their pushka or adding to their tzedakah wallet after daily activities for which you're grateful. For instance, before you eat a meal, before going food shopping, before you go clothes shopping, before making love, or maybe after making love, before going on a journey, or before a friend goes on a trip for her to donate during her journey. In fact, check this out. I follow an Orthodox rabbi on TikTok named Avraham Rappaport. He goes by Rabbi Raps and offers little snippets of Jewish culture and tradition in his TikToks. In this particular TikTok, he calls what's going on charity, but I think Rabbi Rami would say that what he's really talking about is tzedakah. It won't be the first time that two rabbis have disagreed.
What's this?
This is Shaliach Mitzvah. It's $2. You go to Israel.
My friend Alex just gave me $2. Let me tell you about a beautiful tradition. When someone travels, like overseas, we want them to arrive at their destination safely. So you give some money, maybe $1 to the person, and you say, give this to charity at your destination. Right. So no longer am I just traveling, but I'm on the mission to do a mitzvah. So because of that, I feel extra protection, and I thank you for that. You gave me, why $2?
$1 is when you come back, you give a charity here in the place where you live.
I like to fold it into a triangle. There's no spiritual reason for this. It's just simply, I don't want to take this money and spend it on something. I want to remember that this is for the mitzvah. But if you want significance, you have a triangle, maybe it's a Star of David.
So, totally symbolic, right? But these kinds of little gestures remind a person of their obligation to be generous. However you collect it, or however you set it aside, determine how much of your tzedakah money you will carry with you each day, and put it in a separate wallet or purse. When someone asks for money, take it from that purse. You've already prepared to give this money away, so you can give with pleasure. You can give with genuine grace. When your tzedakah wallet is empty, you've met your obligation. You can always give more, but you don't have to feel guilty if you don't. You've prepared to make generosity a part of your day. Now, if you're leery of giving money to poor people, they'll just use it to buy alcohol or drugs. Well, then carry gift certificates for a local fast food restaurant, or put together a blessing bag full of travel-sized personal care items and non-perishable snacks. Jesus said, "The poor you'll always have with you." So whatever we do, our humble efforts aren't going to solve all the world's problems. But as the Mishnah reminds us, the task is great. You cannot be expected to finish it, but neither are you free to ignore it. The spiritual challenge of tzedakah today is to move beyond the sense of separation that we have with people, and to not be afraid to recognize that homeless person as a neighbor without judgment. Make eye contact. Look past their attire and remind yourself that they too are manifestations of the divine. Smile. Say something pleasant. Treat them with respect. And remember, you are giving money out of your Tzedakah budget, so you can focus on the individual and not fret about the amount or what they might do with it or anything else. Your spiritual discipline is to give without having to think about, do I have enough? One author echoes the sentiment of our Chronicles passage today and suggests that we remember that it's not really me who is giving, but God. I'm simply the vehicle of transfer. So, here's to you getting to the end of your day and not having given away all your tzedakah money. Then you have to go out looking for someone. And when you find them, remember that they're doing you a favor by giving you the opportunity to practice generosity and practice it with wild abandon. So be generous and be well.
Choosing to live with hearts full of gratitude. It's one thing to know about Jesus, another to feel Christ within. Some say there's no great distance than that which so often exists between just believing in our minds and knowing God's love in our hearts. You've given us so much, yet we ask one more thing from you. Give us the gift of choosing to live with hearts full of gratitude. Christ is upon us, proclaiming peace to the poor, redeeming and freeing and healing, and showing us what life is for. We're here to have hearts that are burning, to share all the gifts we've received. You've given us so much, yet we ask one more thing from you. Give us the gift of choosing to live with hearts full of gratitude. You've given us so much, yet we ask one more thing from you. Give us the gift of choosing to live with hearts full of gratitude. Give us the gift of choosing to live with hearts full of gratitude.
Let us offer these words of challenge and blessing to one another as we go. Our celebration need not cease.
It can echo in our lives,
In our words,
in our deeds,
in our moods,
in our dreams.
may each of us be a blessing in our going out and our coming in.
May we
We
carry the spirit of
this celebration with us wherever we go.
Hey all, at our in-person celebration this week, we're handing out Tzedakah wallets to everyone in attendance. Now, if you're not able to come up with something that works for you, the wallets we're handing out are essentially zippered pencil pouches. Let us know and we'll get one headed your way. Just email Denise at welcome@weputlovefirst.org and let us know a snail mail address where we can send your Tzedakah pouch. Thanks for being a studio participant and happy Tzedakahing.